Hey there, it's John Fink. You have found The Fink Show. I'm John Fink, your host.
Hi, I'm Gene Wells. Did I say Gene Wells?
You did.
God damn it.
I think I actually need you to say your name, though, correctly.
I will, but why do you need that?
Because you need to identify yourself.
I'm Gina Wells. Nope, that didn't sound good either. Why is this part so hard?
I don't know. It's your goddamn name.
This has been a great success. Listen to the Fink Show.
Yes, welcome to all of this. Enjoy the majesty ahead of you on The Fink Show. 6:30 a.m. weekdays on Podbean, and then replays. Exactly. Replays on patreon.com/Fink Show.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
The Fink Show, live on Podbean, weekdays at 6:30 a.m. Pacific. Find all the replays and exclusive content at patreon.com/Fink Show.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Oh, hello. Nope, not Wells Wednesday.
Nope.
This is Special Guest Friday.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Happy Friday now.
Big game weekend. For those that celebrate.
Big game!
For those that celebrate.
The biggest game of your entire life.
Yeah.
Until next year. Two brothers face off.
That's right.
What will their mother do?
I think she has one of those things where the two jerseys cut in half and stitched together.
She secretly wants one son to win,
Because
but she'll never tell you.
She wants her favorite son to win.
The other one will be dead to her forever.
Good question, which is which, though?
Brought to you by Doritos.
Oh, that's right. I forget which one I did for that. Oh, the double shot. That's right.
Double shot.
Double shot.
Brought to you by Doritos.
Wow, my goodness, friends.
Hello.
Hello, friends. It is Friday, February 10th. Friday, everybody. Congratulations.
True. Yes,
you made
true.
It the week.
What do I win?
You won a weekend.
Yay!
You won a weekend, friends. You made it. It's right round the corner, as they say. Yes. Wow.
Only just out of reach, maybe just. Who knows?
What is that song?
That's from West Side Story.
Oh,
Could
okay.
be.
Wow, that's a deep cut. I'm impressed. Well done, Gina Wells.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, no, you did it. It was good stuff. Look, the crowd is with you. So
Thank you.
See, the crowd liked it.
Thank you.
You did great. You did
Oh,
great.
flowers? You shouldn't have.
Yeah. Oh well, they like what the people like you, Gene Wells. I have to
Thank
say.
you.
Well, friends, get ready for what?
Nothing?
What?
Nothing.
All right. I'm just making sure.
Jeez, you're paranoid.
I am. I had a little too much caffeine this morning. It's fine. Yes, we have an interesting show today. We're having a special guest here.
What?
And yes, and he's got a pretty freaking amazing story to tell us.
All right.
And
Tell
we should
me.
get right into it. Mr. Rob Hoadley, are you here for us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Hello, sir.
All right. Is that
Thank you
good on your end?
Yeah, you wanna get a little closer
A
to the
little
mic,
quiet.
maybe?
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah,
on the
man.
quietish end. Just maybe bring it up like a half shaka now.
You got it, man. I'm
There
half
it is.
shaka. Let's roll.
There we are. We are at half shaka. I mean, that never just don't. Yeah, don't.
Yeah, leave that alone. Thank you.
Yeah, we're leaving that as it is. Our friend Rob Hoadley, you are here to talk to us about our car insurance warranty upgrades, right?
Oh, that's
No, I'm just
right.
kidding.
I'm
No,
the one
I'm-
that's been calling you over and over.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this platform. This should really bump up your Patreon, John.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to hear more about that. Just what we all needed.
I'm a safe driver. Can I get a discount?
Well, let's tell Gina Wells.
Did you serve?
No.
Oh, then it's not for you. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, we're messing around. Rob's a friend of mine. He's been on the college show back in the day. Yeah, man, it's been a while.
That was a long time
Been a
ago.
while.
It was, right? Thank you, Gina. Yeah, it has, and so things have happened since then, and even as it was back then, there was an amazing story to hear. So why don't you give the listeners a little background, like what kind of brought you to these unusual sets of circumstances in your life?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. Thanks, everybody, for having me on. Gina, you do have a really good singing voice.
No,
Thank you for that.
stop it.
I know. Stop. Don't make me sing.
Go on.
Honestly, though, shout out to Mrs. Vegan Giant, by the way, because she's the one that really
Yes.
got us together
Yeah.
all
It's
those
true.
days ago.
It's
And so, my name is Rob Hoadley. I'm a husband of a beautifully, amazingly capable wife, Dory. She's a director at St. Peter's by the Sea Preschool.
Nice.
I'm a father of two beautiful and talented young women, Kristen, who's a licensed cosmetologist and stylist, and she's an incredible singer also,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Gina. Yeah, so Kristen X Cosmetics is what she is on Instagram. So Kristen X Cosmetics, check her out. And then Lauren, who is my youngest daughter, and she just graduated from the University of Utah and is now a city planner in Utah.
Oh,
which is,
cool.
really, really cool. So, yeah, I mean, so like a job in her major less than 6 months out of college. I'm amazed by that, and that's fantastic.
We should connect her with Karen's friend Brandy, who's a city planner in Redondo Beach.
Oh, that would be neat.
Have those two meet minds a little bit. That's a good.
Hey.
Sorry. Anyway,
Now, if
diversion.
they
No,
were
those
both
all-
in the Super Bowl, what would you do?
Yeah, exactly. If both daughters were in the Super Bowl, how would you manage that?
Well, I would be so heavily sedated from the odds of that actually happening that you know what, I would just be happy with whatever outcome because they're both amazing. How's that?
Oh,
call.
good
Very
answer.
nicely done.
Boom.
Nicely done.
Boom. Yeah. So I'm going to jump right into it, John, if that's all right with
Yeah,
you.
do it,
there's
man.
A lot
Have
of, there's a lot of material.
Yeah, tell
Um,
us what brought you here. I want to give the folks a little background.
Yeah. Okay.
then
So
This
this
can
is
kind of do like a little past, present, future kind of thing.
okay. Past, present, future. Copy that. So
Yeah.
I'm a Gulf War veteran, U.S. Navy, and in 2010, I decided to go back into the Navy in the reserves, and I was
Okay.
working out and getting my butt in shape, and I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, as we say,
Mm.
and went into a meeting in a hotel where I was working. And it was a construction meeting. We had just finished a construction project, and we were deciding whether or not to pay out the general contractor their final monies.
Okay.
And I was the corporate contract and lease administrator, so everything kind of like that went through me. And so I came into a meeting, and they said, "Hey, so Rob, check it out, man. Are we going to pay Dennis?" So I was still standing. I didn't even get all the way seated before they started firing the questions, and I thought that was awesome. So, but
Yeah.
I had a whole file full of information, and I was like, I'm ready for this. And so, you know, like you do when you're doing a 3-part answer, like you hit your index fingers together. You're like, first of all, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And second of all, and when I hit my middle finger, which you can't see, but which
That's okay.
I also
like
haven't
the dramatic
done.
pause for it. No, it's good.
I also haven't done since 2011.
Oh, did
Um,
that bring up some stuff for you just now?
yeah, actually.
Wow, man.
So when I hit my middle finger, I died.
Wow.
I went into
My
a full
God.
cardiac arrest, and fell
Oh my
forward
God.
toward the meeting table. And my construction manager caught me by my throat
Oh,
with his
geez.
forearm, so I didn't hit my face on his computer. And pause. It
Yeah.
was April 1st.
Oh no! So people thought you were
They're like,
messing with
come
them.
on.
So it's April 1st, 2011. I'm a performer. I'm a singer. I do stage acting stuff. And they're like, come on. Well, then my body began to seize.
Jeez.
And so my construction manager, Tom, said, Rob, I put you on the ground as lightly as I could, as easily as I could.
Yeah.
And so I'm 6'1", 285. So basically I threw your big ass on the ground and started CPR. I mean, that's really the translation.
That's that's what you're always taught in like any kind of CPR class. You just got to let the person down slowly. You're not supposed to like try and hold them up or anything.
No, absolutely not. And they need to get on the ground because you need that hard surface in order to do effective, high quality CPR anyway.
Right.
So Tom starts CPR, and people begin frantically trying to remember what they're supposed to do. And so all of their emergency action plans jump into place, and they're happening. 911 is called.
Mm-hmm.
All the proper steps are taken, and so the call goes out, 911, and the first person to arrive is Officer Jason Ballinger, who gets to the scene in about 4 minutes. At this point, I'm down without oxygen in my brain for 4 minutes.
Jeez.
And I would like to point out that every minute you're down in cardiac arrest, your chance of survival drops 10%.
Oh, wow.
Man.
So at 4 minutes, right, I have a 60% chance of survival, right?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you feel sick all day, or was it you felt fine?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, actually.
Yeah.
And the fact is, I had no symptoms, no family history, no personal history. And there's a very real authenticity to the term sudden cardiac arrest.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so, yeah. So, no, I was in the best shape of my life, to be totally honest with you. I mean, better than high school, better than when I was in the Navy before, as a matter of fact.
So you weren't even like, oh, I have a stomach ache or nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. I was on fire because these important people had just called me into a meeting, and I had all the smoking guns in this file, and I was ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Have you guys been in those meetings where you're like, oh crap, I really don't have what I need, or I'm not ready for this?
I've been in those, and I've been in the
sure.
ones like, okay, I have all the receipts here right now.
I had everything. I was like, wow, this is perfect. So
man.
I was feeling great. I had my best mile and a half time of my entire life was that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jeez.
I was, anyway, nothing pointed to that.
Okay.
So it dropped out. So now Tom's doing CPR for 4 minutes. Officer Ballinger comes in, and his job is to come in and tell dispatch, hey, these are the things I need. These are the things I don't need. This is what the scene looks like, dispatch guy, or girl. So send me these things, these resources, right? Mm-hmm. So while he's doing that, Tom, and unfortunately in our country, our CPR training says to do CPR until first responders arrive.
Correct.
Until somebody else shows up.
Confirm. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's not the right verb. It's not arrive. It's take over or relieve.
Oh, okay.
That's really the mindset we should have, because as soon as you stop compressing that chest, the oxygenated blood stops flowing to your brain.
Right.
And when that happens, and the EMTs or paramedics will tell you, they have a phrase that's time is tissue.
Ooh,
So-
I like that.
Tissue,
So
okay.
as the oxygenated blood stops to your brain, the tissue in your brain begins to die.
Makes
Oh my
sense.
God.
Okay, you we joke around about, oh yeah, I got stoned and I killed a bunch of brain cells this weekend, or I got
Right.
drunk at this conference, this concert, and blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Well, that's what they're talking about, and so we impact our brains that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the side note. But the oxygenated blood going to my brain stopped when Tom stopped doing CPR, and he saw that the officer had other things he had to do.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
he kept going on CPR, and Officer Ballinger relieved him when he was done calling things in. The paramedics, which is incredible, they actually arrived. It was Firehouse 20 over by Sports Arena. So shout out to them because they actually were on what's called a brownout. So they
Oh.
didn't have a full crew on their ambulance because they were basically like on standby. They weren't really on. They weren't on a call, and they weren't in a queue, as it were. They were transporting bottles, oxygen bottles, and and John, I know you're familiar with the Mission Beach, Pacific Beach areas, and
Sure.
they were transporting oxygen bottles from Station 21 over by the Catamaran
Uh-huh.
and over to the Sports Arena firehouse. They were just transporting oxygen bottles and happened to be at the stoplight by the roller coaster.
Oh, and so that was close by.
Yeah, and so you, as you well know, it's like if they take that left, right, and pass the Bahia,
Uh-huh.
and they go down. Once you pass the Bahia, you got to go down and around and
You got to go.
do
Oh yeah, you're on a long
cloverleaf
bridge,
curly
basically.
Q.
Yeah,
But you're
exactly.
2, 3, 4 more minutes, right? And
Right.
which is 20, 30, 40% less chance of survival, right?
Exactly.
So
Oh my gosh.
anyway, so they arrive at about 7.5 minutes, and they shocked me the first time at 8 minutes. So my first shock happened at 8 minutes, which for all the mathematicians, that puts me at a 20% chance of survival.
Man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they end up getting a pulse back and decide to transport. And I received 5 shocks total that day on the way to the hospital. Each of those shocks, it also knocks, because there's still something happening in your heart that's causing you to go into this fatal rhythm.
Right.
Each of those shocks drops your chance of survival approximately another 10%. So in essence, I went through the emergency room doors at negative 30% chance of survival.
Jeez, man.
Because it was at that 20 and then 5. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so then I'm in the hospital and they work on me for 45 minutes. And at one point, ask so my wife works at the preschool, like I mentioned before.
Mhm.
And as she left her house, my employer, by the way, was incredibly coy with the way they told my wife this story. But they called her and said, "Hey, so Rob,
Something happened.
something happened at work.
What are you doing?
Rob's headed over to the the old hospitalio there. You might want to
No.
scoot on over." No, they said, Rob's had an accident at work and he passed out. You should probably go on over to the hospital immediately.
That's all they said?
Well, that's good though, John, because
I think they were trying to
if you're giving
downplay
that kind
it.
of news,
That's true.
and then you're instructing someone to get behind the wheel of a
Right.
2-ton motor vehicle, you really want to kind of keep them in the right kind of.
Yeah, you don't want to be like,
mind.
panic, now get in the car.
Holy crap!
That's a good
get
point.
to the hospital now. Get to the helicopter now.
That's right.
To the chopper.
Drive. See,
yeah.
I'd be calling somebody else to drive me if I heard that kind of news. Even if it was like some lightly told news, I'd be like,
Oh yeah,
my
me
hands
too.
are
The
shaking.
anxiety.
Well, see,
I'd be like,
hold the
that's
steering
it.
wheel."
I need someone.
in her in my wife's defense, which is I will be at forever. She had seen me working myself into a ridiculous state of muscle failure to get back into the Navy. She had seen me like just taxing my body like crazy. So it is not out of the realm of possibility for her to believe that I was just dehydrated.
Oh,
okay.
And and
yeah.
just
So
she
she's
knew
like,
I worked
oh,
out
this
that
guy,
morning.
he just overdid it.
Yeah, you knucklehead. Now I
Like,
got
what
to
a
take
drama
some time
queen.
off.
Yeah.
God,
Right.
seriously. Anyway, but so she gets there, and but a vicar, which is like a pastor in training, kind of in a Lutheran church,
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
saw her dipping out relatively quickly, and like she was going to the hospital, and he followed her to the hospital, which is fantastic. His name is Joshua Serrano. He's now a full pastor preacher guy up in the Bay Area,
Okay.
but he followed her to the hospital, and like so, my wife is there in the ER area, and Josh is there, has his collar on. And he's praying for all he's worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the doc comes out after a while and says, "Oh, are you Mrs. Hoadley?" And she said, "Yeah." "Oh, is this your priest?"
Oh boy.
And she said, "Well, yeah, sure." And we're not Catholic, so she's like, "Yeah, call him whatever you want, whatever."
Yeah.
But again, understand her state of mind at the time. I honestly believe was he's dehydrated. What an idiot! Why can't you get a drink of water?
So she's just sort of like, sure, and the doctor's like, oh shit,
No. Yeah, you don't really understand. And so,
Yeah.
what ended up
He
happening?
thought it was perfectly appropriate for there to be a priest there,
Yeah.
considering
so-
what he knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said,
Holy shit.
Wow.
"I'm going to need the two of you to come back."
Oh my God.
So, I'm going to need the two of you to come back.
Yeah.
And so they did, and they walked
Yeah.
in the room, and there were. It's a teaching hospital, so there were other doctors like lining the edge of the room. My wife tried to make eye contact with them,
They would not look at her.
and they looked at her and then immediately took their gaze to the floor.
Oh shit.
And she's like, "What's going on?" And beep, beep, my heart started, and they're like, "Get her out of here."
Oh jeez.
So
Oh
now
my
she's
God.
back in the waiting room
Still hasn't told her anything.
with 6.8 million questions,
Yeah.
rather than any real clarification of any kind. But
Oh my
she's not.
God.
I mean, she didn't. Just
She's
fall
like
off
April
off
Fools?
a truck, right? She
Yeah.
didn't just fall off a
Right.
truck. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I watch Grey's Anatomy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that basic. She understood the gravity now and was like,
Right.
"Oh my God."
Yeah.
And now we had friends and some coworkers that had gathered, and they're like, "Is he okay? What's going
I
on?
don't know.
Everything good?"
She's like,
She's
I don't
like,
have
I
any
have
idea.
no idea.
I just
don't
got
know.
rushed out. Wow.
Yeah. So they work on me for a while, and they get me up to. They finally get me up to cardiac critical care. It's at UCSD Medical Center in Hillcrest, and
Mhm.
it's on like the 10th floor.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't understand why they have it on the 10th floor.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
why-
long elevator ride when time's
That's
critical.
it. That's what I'm saying. Put the guys that need it cast on the 10th floor,
Shouldn't
man.
they be on the ground floor? Yeah.
You would
Put
think.
the dietary department up there. Jesus.
Or just like
So-
an express elevator or something.
Yeah. And that, and that's honestly, that was a real concern. Like, do we put him in, if he crashes in the elevator or the elevator gets stuck and he crashes, like, now what? Anyway, but they finally get me up there, and, and so now I'm in a coma for 4 days.
Jesus.
So that was that, right? And
Yeah.
so, and what I want to, I don't know if any of them are listening, but I would just want to shout out to anybody that came to the waiting room during those 4 days, because the reports that I got were there were upwards of 100 people there at any given time with patent
Wow.
Oscars and board games and coloring books and just incredible support. And and my doc once, so anyway, so I was in that coma, and obviously I was sleeping, right? But they
Sure.
lowered my body temperature to reduce the trauma to my brain and my organs, and that's targeted
Yeah.
temperature management, and it's a very effective technique to do that,
Right.
to help the survivor come through with better cognitive function. because that long without oxygen to your brain has material impact on your ability to do a lot of things with your brain.
Sure.
So I started. I was shivering because of the drop in temperature. So they had to strap me down so I didn't pull out IVs and PICC lines and catheters and such.
Yeah.
And remained like that for 4 days. And when I came out of that coma, when it was safe for them to bring me out, I can't with English words tell you the feeling I had.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like, okay, where am I?
Right.
What the heck is happening? And I hear my sister. I'm like, all right, Dawn's here. I hear my brother Sean. I'm like, all right, Sean's here. But Dawn lives in Phoenix and Sean lives in Chicago. This is clearly a hospital.
Okay, I've got a question though.
Yeah.
So as far as like your stream of consciousness, did it just go from meeting room to hospital bed,
yeah.
4+ days
Yeah.
later? Was it like a snap, or did you have some like cloudiness and darkness?
No.
What was your
Snap.
consciousness like?
It was a snap. Yeah.
Holy
So you're like, and another thing, where am I?
Exactly. No, that's exactly
Wow.
right. Because a sudden cardiac arrest is an electrical issue. I'm glad you stopped me for a sec because
Yeah,
I do want
just to describe, it's not a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a plumbing issue. It's an electrical issue.
Look at you taking notes, man.
Oh.
Nice.
Hey,
work.
I remember,
Nice,
man.
So it
nice.
wasn't
Yeah.
a blocked.
No,
Anything.
Okay.
no,
Right,
it's
exactly.
actually
So-
a dysfunction of the nerves that power the heart muscle.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
man, research too. This is awesome.
Hey,
You get an A, John.
Thank
This is-
you.
yeah, seriously.
Thank
this
you.
is-
Thank you.
this
Thank
is
you. I
good treatment.
remember. I
So
remember.
it's like, yeah. So if the pipes going into your pump, which is your heart, are clogged, if the pipes are clogged, and over time your pump is trying to pump blood, and it's like, man, come on, give me a break.
yeah, and it
I'm
burns
pumping,
out.
and
That's
and
a,
you know,
that's
when
a
over
heart
time it doesn't work out, then your heart's like, hey, raises his little hand and says, I need help, man, and that's a heart attack. Okay.
right.
In the United States, you have a 90% survival rate for a heart attack. People
And that's
drive
the one-
themselves.
That's the one with the numb left arm, or sometimes it presents
Yeah.
as like
Yeah, good
severe,
point.
especially in women, it presents as nausea.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And that's the interesting thing too. Specifically, a heart attack presents differently in men versus women.
You're
so
exactly right.
It
And-
feels different.
Yeah, it's numbness or tingling down one or both arms, shortness of breath, heavy elephant sitting on your chest, clammy, sweating.
Mhm.
But then, like you said, they have found over research that women, it presents differently. All those other things are true, but they're also feeling it in their jaw and their upper back.
Interesting.
So in our society, we are socially conditioned, or women are socially conditioned to take care of everyone else before they
And so,
take care of
yeah.
themselves. So they don't get screened. They don't go to the doc. They're the last ones to make a doctor's appointment for themselves. So I'm begging you, females in the listening, if you identify as a female, please, please go get screened. Listen to your body. Take care of
Yeah.
yourself. Take care of us too. Shoot, I count on that too. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. But you can't take care of me if you're not taking care of you. So please,
Exactly.
please, everybody in my family has been screened for cardiac issues, and my point, I guess that's the soapbox for that.
Yeah.
So back to the stream of consciousness. Yes, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a snap. I didn't know what happened. I didn't realize that it was 4 days later. But I was able to. I tried to talk when I was intubated, and I'm going to give you some advice, free.
Oh God.
Do not try to
No.
talk.
Yeah.
when
No.
you're intubated.
Ooh.
I mean, I hope to God you never have that opportunity. Ooh, I remember Rob said, "Don't do this."
Yeah.
But it
Ask for a pad
hurts.
and paper.
It
Ask for a
hurts
pen and
bad.
paper.
It hurts bad. And so
Oh, my
I was
God.
extubated, which I didn't even know that term until then. By the way, I mean you hear
Yeah.
intubated on the TV all the time, but not extubated,
Right.
which
Right.
is interesting. Good Scrabble word. And then
Nice.
so I'm extubated, and I walk 212 feet to my next room, and I know it's 212 feet because the tiles are 12 by 12, and I walked around that floor several thousand times during the next 13 days. And, but I walked to that next room with no motor deficit, with no perceived cognitive malfunction.
That's
And
incredible.
and that's and then honestly what my doctor's name was John Standish Adams.
Oh,
And which is a
good
memorable
name.
name. You know, his
Yeah.
parents
Yeah.
were history buffs. The fact is that he was a fantastically educated and very capable 6'2" Korean American doctor whose name was John Standish Adams, and I thought that was all very
Nice.
memorable.
Nice. I like
Yeah.
that.
And
It's
I
like a
was
TV
wow,
doc name.
yeah, I was like, wow, check you out. Anyway, so he said, and there were a lot of people in my room after I had transferred down to this next one, and I was conscious and incredibly weak. And I didn't understand how weak. But he said, hey, if you don't mind, everybody, if I could have the room so I could talk to Rob alone.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And he said, I think it's a good time for me to tell you medically what happened to you. I was like, that would be neat.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Because I'm in
Yeah.
like this, what the heck's going on phase right now. And he said, so this is what happened. And he told me the whole story that I just told you. Because obviously the event recap that I gave you earlier was news that I received.
Right.
Right.
Because I was in effect clinically dead during that time, so I was unable to really pay attention the way I would like to.
Makes
So I did-
sense.
Yeah, so
That makes all of the sense.
Yeah, all the detail I've given
You weren't doing
I
a
wanna-
Wordle in the middle of that? No.
No, I just want to make sure that everybody understands all. Photo credit goes to right.
Yeah.
Sure. But so he said, yeah. So this is what happened to you, and we don't know why. I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I prefer answers, but
Yeah.
I can hear you, and what you're telling me is that
Answers are not forthcoming right now.
Like I shouldn't be alive right now. Okay. He goes, yeah, but I do want to point out something really positive, man. I'm like, oh, bring it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he
could
said,
use that.
well, the whole time you've been in here, our waiting room has been overrun by people supporting you. I'm like, dog, they're here for my wife, man. Don't get it twisted. Right? He goes, no. Listen. He said his family talks to each other sometimes about, okay, like, so if you died today, who would come to your funeral?
Right.
Like, how many people? Who would it be? Like, who are your real people that would show up? And he said, man, I don't know what you and your family are doing, but keep doing it, because there are a lot of people out there supporting. We had to turn people away because other people need to be in that waiting room for their people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, I'm sorry about that. He goes, no, don't apologize. I'm just saying, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, they're here for my wife, man. He said, no, I just don't believe that. But my point is that your community is very important. And I didn't realize that. And you don't really realize what kind of impact you have on the people around you until something way out of the ordinary happens.
Right.
And so, so just as a feel good message,
sort of like your It's a Wonderful
Friday.
Life moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a feel good moment for a casual Friday, I'm just saying, pay attention to the impact you make on people, because you think you know what you're giving them, but they could take away something entirely different, and it could be so great.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. For instance, and this is another side note, and I told you I might do this, but
it's okay.
Go ahead.
No, we got it.
There I was in third grade.
Okay.
So all military people start. There I was.
Yeah. Surrounded.
I was surrounded by other third graders. I was in music.
I was in the right place.
Yes, I had all my equipment.
Thankfully, I was in the right
I
class.
had my juice box.
Yeah, right. In hand. And and they're darn hard to open, by the way. And I
Yeah.
could tell you another
Yeah,
story
they are.
off air about what a little preschooler said to my wife about opening his blank and juice box. But oh man, her stories. Anyway, but so I'm sitting there and we're playing chromatic bells, right?
Okay.
And we're
Yeah.
and I don't know if kids even know what they're probably electronic now, but we're playing these bells, and Geraldine Hawkins,
Mhm.
who's from somewhere in Alabama, was my music teacher. She at the time probably was a 60-year-old lady, and I was humming a harmony to the chromatic bell scales that we were playing.
Uh-oh.
And she came over and she was just like going down the line, like listening to people play their bells to make sure they're right or whatever. And came up to me and was standing there for a couple of seconds. And I was like, she said, and she looked at me, she put her index finger under my chin and lifted my head up and said, "Let your voice ring out, child. It's the only way you'll be heard."
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Let your voice ring out, child. It's the only way you'll be heard.
That's amazing.
John, I have sung something every day since that day.
That's really beautiful.
Oh, I like that.
It is why it's why I'm a vocalist now. If somebody says, "Rob, can you sing?" I said, "Yes, I can."
Yeah.
And it's that. And so my point being, back to the community thing, you never really know what impact you have on someone. And so have good impact on people. If you go with positive intent, then you're going to have a better impact on the world. And
well, also sometimes you don't see that impact immediately reflected. So in times of crisis like this, it brings those to the surface.
100%. 100%. There's a saying in theater and stage theater where before you go out on stage, you should be able to answer 3 questions as an actor.
I don't know this one.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Where am I? And what do I want?
Yeah.
Because to go on stage, you have to want something. You have to want to pass information or get information or bring something in or take something out or arrive at a place or leave a place or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the answers aren't just superficial, right? The who am I isn't just I'm Rob. It's
right.
I'm Rob Hoadley, and I am the son of a sharecropper who did this and did that and did this and then got improperly imprisoned and now he's out and and I have 6 brothers and 10 sisters and I have I'm missing my right leg from the knee down, something but it's like super deeper than just my name.
Well, it gives you the 3-dimensional performance that way.
And where am I is bigger than geography, right? I'm in San Diego.
Yeah.
No, where you are, like, where are you in this relationship? Like, are you one of the points of a triangle? Are you a boss? Where am I? I mean,
I'm here in this contractors meeting about to set down some 3 points.
Exactly. And then leave in an ambulance. And escort
exactly.
to the hospital.
Yep.
And then what do I want? Right. We talked about that a little bit, but and this is going somewhere with the impact you have on people. So my oldest daughter, Kristen, later in her life, actually had tattooed on her right inside of her forearm, who am I, where am I, and what do I want?
Oh, I like that.
That's really permanently tattooed there. So all the fathers and mothers in the audience understand, careful what you say, because it could end up tattooed on your daughter. You don't. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you don't ever really know. You don't know what sticks, man. And thankfully, that was a good one. Yeah, you know. I mean, fill up your car when you're at a quarter of a tank of gas wouldn't really fit, like on her. Check your oil before you go on a road trip. Turn off the damn lights.
Just the oil pressure symbol light tattooed on your.
No, but that's all the impact you have on people is where I was talking about that. So
that's a good point. And when you come with good intention, and what does it all boil down to? Is intention and attention.
That's right.
And so when you have those put in the right place, then it will disseminate where it needs to go. I see Chad in the chat, like he tattooed his dad's quote.
Yeah, nice, Chad.
Well done, Chad. Chad, listening from the Pentagon, by the way.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I won't tell you this top secret stuff. But
Okay, yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
so there we are. Okay, so there I am now. I'm in my new room, getting an explanation from my doc about what happened, and my support network is there. Everything's super bitching
Mhm.
because I'm alive, right? And
Yeah.
now I'm barely realizing how close I came. And
Right.
I had a guy who went through Princeton Seminary and
Mhm.
went to our church, Westminster Presbyterian Church. Shout out to the Chosen Frozen. Well, because we just don't clap at really good songs and stuff like that. And whatever, not the point. So a guy from Princeton Seminary is at my bedside. He's like, Rob, I don't know if anybody's done this yet, but I'd like to talk to you about survivor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a real thing. Like, why did I survive, but a 13-year-old girl across town did not?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I'm good, dude. I handled that in the military. When we came back from the Gulf, we had a team of psychologists that came on our boat, and they said, "Hey, man, are you okay?" Well, actually, our chief mustered us up in the engine room and said, "Hey, there's going to be some people coming on board, and they're going to interview you one at a time to find out if you're okay. You're okay."
Nice.
Roger that, Chief.
Yes, sir.
And then they're like, "Hey, so Petty Officer Hoadley, are you you having trouble sleeping?" Nope.
I was
Everything
told
good?
to say I'm okay.
Yep. No, John.
Oh, sorry. Whoops.
No.
You can't say that part, John.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah.
First rule of sheep mentality is no, you don't say that. You just say what you said. And what
yeah.
you were told to say. Anyway, so I'm okay. So I said, "No, man, I'm good. I dealt with survivor's guilt before. People around me died, and it wasn't my fault."
Mm-hmm.
But now it's the opposite, right? Now you didn't die, so there's guilt there at times. I didn't feel any at the time because I was still kind of stoned on the coma drugs, honestly.
Sure.
But then I was like, "No, I'm good." And he said, "All right, great, great." And he said, "So what do you think God's plan is for you now?"
Good question.
Like, and typically I don't think the Fink show goes into religion, but
not so much.
Right. And so this isn't really that either. But I said, honestly,
like what is the plan for you regardless?
Yeah. Regardless of what supervisor you put on it. Right.
Sure.
And I said, I don't know, man. I didn't know before this. So I don't really know now. But what I'll tell you is, now, I have, developed an answer to that, and that is I keep my mind, body, and spirit open to opportunities, and when those opportunities present themselves, I try to behave appropriately.
Fair.
Now, what does that mean? I don't know. So what it means is, to me, is that like every day we have an opportunity to be mad or glad or resentful or spiteful or philanthropic or nice or resentful or all these things, and we make thousands of decisions like that a day.
Yes, we do.
And the real thing that I've come out of this with, and I have a lot more credibility than just this one little incident, is that our feelings are real and they're right. Whatever feeling you have right now, like those hearts that are flipping up in the screen right now, are super cool.
Isn't that nice?
All of your feelings are right. They're right. When you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't feel mad. You shouldn't be sad. Shut up. Shut up.
Don't should on me, man.
Yeah, don't should me, man. And they're right. And so what you have to understand as a rational being, Plato said that our job on earth is to be the best rational being we can be. As a rational being, you need to say, okay, this is how I feel. I properly identify what that emotion is. identify where it came from. Like, why do I feel mad? Why do I feel happy? Why do I feel sad? Why do I feel betrayed? Whatever. And then decide, what are you going to do about it or with that feeling? So if I'm pissed off, if I'm mad, and like, okay, why are you mad? Like, really, why are you mad? Okay.
Right.
Really, because sometimes we project it onto other things. It's not really the case. And so I'm mad. All right, well, why am I mad? And now what am I going to do with it? Am I going to
That's
pass
the
that
thing.
mad onto the waitress? Am I going
That's
to
what
pass
I've
that
always felt
mad?
is that true measure of character is, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
the real
so,
thing.
and so I choose to take that mad and inspire myself to fix or affect the situation or experience that just made me mad, so that people that I love and care about don't have to be mad about that,
Right.
to the extent that I can, right? I'm not my wife. I can't fix the world. You know, I, I can't do that, but I can do the best I can,
Sure.
and my best is making sure that I don't pass that mad onto somebody else. In fact, I think it's a better course to try and be extra nice to the next person you talk to. Because,
Right.
man, when you're nice to somebody and they smile at you, you can't be mad. You
It's
just
infectious.
can't,
Yeah,
man.
it's true.
And so my life has turned into, I don't have to, I get to. I don't have
That's beautiful.
obligations. I have opportunities.
Mhm.
Like, I don't have to go to work. I
You
get
get
to.
to.
And
Well, that's the old saying, this, what is luck? It's preparation plus opportunity. And it sounds
yeah,
like, you've had all these, yes, amazing and terrifying circumstances, but you had a lot of really good solid tools to deal with and cope with that and sort of translate it into something positive, like immediately post trauma and post crisis. They were in place already, which is amazing.
yeah, and it, and so I got, and I don't want to, I want to take almost no credit for any of that, because really solid thinking and forward thinking people helped me to get to where I am now. And I still have, everybody's on a journey with mental health, but um, I want to point. You just said that immediately after these traumas. I'm like, yo, dog, it was not immediate. None of that. None of that was immediate. I
Uh-oh.
promise you, brother. I mean, we were.
You hit some guardrails in a bit, like right
Man,
after?
this event almost cost me my family. Um,
Wow.
yeah. Um, so I'm in the hospital for 13 days. They implant a defibrillator in my chest.
Mhm.
Thank God. Um, and I go home, and I'm home in 13 days, and now, like, cards show up, and the people come by and visit. Hey, Rob, what's up? And then they, bring food. There's like the food chain thing or whatever. I
Okay.
always forget what that's called. But they, anyway, but then,
The casserole brigade.
yeah, that's a good way
Yeah.
to say it.
There you go.
I would like a good casserole right now. As a matter of fact,
Yeah. Oh man. that
your
does sound
show
good.
is so damn early. It's like, man, I didn't even get breakfast.
Oh, see, that's
So
why you need some Seattle gummies. It's sorry.
there we go. Right. Nice. Nice. Are there any other sponsors we can plug? But
KennedyTide.com.
hey,
Good.
all right.
There we go.
But then it all stopped.
Maddie's
But
saying,
then
get this man a quiche.
just seriously, man. And I'm a real man, and I will eat quiche. I'll eat the hell out of quiche. So
I'll rock a vegan quiche any day, man.
yeah,
Those
I'm
things are good.
telling you. I hope you tried that vegan restaurant. Never mind. Okay, so
Anyway, yeah.
so then all the food and cards and visits and calls
Hmm.
stopped
Yeah, because they're like, okay, he's
because
good
they all
now.
go back to work. Yeah, so like
He's quote unquote
it's,
good now.
It's out of the news cycle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm not better. I'm not good yet.
Hmm.
And now I'm sitting on my couch with everybody at work and school, and nobody talking to me, subject to daytime television,
Oof.
and thinking, do they really care that I made it?
Wow.
Is it really that important? Or what if, this sucks.
Right.
What if I just didn't make it? And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Time out, bro. And I
Good.
stood up off of my couch. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. So I didn't sit on my couch for a month.
Nice.
Because if I'm sitting down like that, I am not moving forward.
Makes sense.
And when you said immediately, I'm like, yo, no. So I worked really, really hard. And there was a point where my wife and I and my two daughters were having dinner at the table, and something happened with like the salad spoon tonguey things, and like salad flew out, and it was just like an explosion of an argument at the table.
Uh-oh.
What do you? And then it all stopped, and my youngest daughter, Lauren, God bless her, said, I think we all need to go to counseling together.
Oh.
Out of the mouth of babes, right? But
well done.
But it was true. It was true because I was having so my post-traumatic stress from the Gulf War mixed with this smash in the face of what your mortality is.
And you were beginning to grieve, it seems like.
And didn't know how, and didn't know what was
Right.
coming. One of the shortfalls of our hospital system for cardiac arrest survivors is what happens now. On the way home, hey, caregiver, hey, co-survivor, hey, family, here's what you might see. Here's what this person might encounter. Rob, by the way, these are some of the things we've heard reported that you might feel, see, do. We got none of that. None of it. It was
they just saw tail lights.
Don't forget to
like,
follow
all right,
up.
well, he's good.
Don't forget to follow up.
Yeah.
Follow up.
What do you mean by follow up? Yeah.
Shit. Okay. And so, anyway, we got into counseling. We all realized that this was bigger than all of us. The counseling, honestly, was not as effective as it could have been. And it took 2 years for my daughters to actually talk to each other about their experiences that day.
Wow.
My wife, 2 days was only the second time I heard my wife kind of lay out what she experienced that day.
Really? Just 2 days ago?
That was only the second time.
Jeez.
Jesus.
We don't really talk about it a lot, and there are different ways to approach it, man, and none of it's right or wrong, and
it's all going to happen in its own time,
or not, brothers, because there are people that just won't talk about it anymore, and and sadly, that's the truth. I talk about it every day, but that said, we went into counseling. We got counseling. I was back to work in 30 days. And gave out lifesaver awards to the guy, David Cherishore, who called 911, Tom Farley, who saved my life with CPR, and Tony Barba Jr., who helped with some breathing. And Officer Ballinger was there too, and he got a lifesaver award. So I just got back to work and got after it, and I was like, this is bitching. But then, like, for the next 6-8 weeks, I was like, hi, my name's Rob. I'm a cardiac arrest survivor. And it was totally defining who I was. I'm like, all right, we got to stop that. So now we'll fast forward a bit, and I was still gainfully employed and working, and but then realizing that I had a very special situation where I could be an impact and an advocate for other people, and went to a conference called the Emergency Cardiovascular Care Update. And it was where all the giants in resuscitation and defibrillation come together and talk about survival, and talk to survivors, and talk to survivors about survivorship and all this stuff. And it turned out to be the work that I could not do.
Right. It was you were again uniquely suited.
Yeah, it was an epiphany. It was like, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle. Here is my oh shit, that's another handle. I'm actually a sugar bowl. It's not a spout, nice. Right? And so I went on my sugar bowl route, and
Right.
and changed careers. And now I help put defibrillators into law enforcement vehicles because the cop that came to my scene did not have one. Okay. So I have a
Yeesh.
passion for my work that I get to do every day that other people don't have, because like after the second football game on a Sunday, they're like, "Ah, crap, I have to go back to work." And I'm like, "Man, I can't wait. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. I got to do this." Anyway,
So can you give people a sense of, since that initial incident, how many times have you had heart failure?
man, thank you, because I was trying to figure out how to get there.
It's okay. I got you
I
for the
appreciate you,
segues.
brother. So my heart condition that for some reason keeps repeating is still
Mhm.
what they call idiopathic, in that they don't exactly know why it continues to happen. But
Right.
so that first day, April 1st, 2011, I had 5 cardiac arrests. Okay. Survival rate of
Okay.
cardiac arrest out of the hospital with no AED is less than 10% PS. Okay. So there's that. Fast forward
Yeah.
to 2018. I'm typing a letter, email to a sheriff. I'm laying on my bed in Point Loma, breeze blowing. I have 2 more cardiac arrests. Bam, bam. And my device in my chest shocks me twice.
God.
So that's 5. So that's 6 and 7.
Okay.
That's in 2018. 2021, February, I have another one sitting on a couch. Bam. That's 8. And then this, right now, this is the kicker. So Christmas Eve of 2021, we were finishing up a vacation in Mexico, East Cape, Mexico. We were, dirt roads and ATVs, and just a fantastic vacation, man. 14 people from our family, and it was just amazing. I'm sitting on the Sea of Cortez on an ATV that's turned off. I'm 4 feet from where the water hits the shore, watching the morning colors with the sun rising over the water, which is different than in San Diego for me, right? And it's beautiful,
sure.
and the air tastes great, and the temperature is perfect. And I'm like, man, what a great vacation we've had. This has been bam.
Wow.
Shocked. Now I'm on the beach at dawn in Mexico.
Mhm.
So there's no
By
911.
yourself.
There's no one around for
Right.
miles. My cell phone service with my wife had been spotty since we had been down there. My only choice is to start my ATV and ride it back to the hotel.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in what is called attack.
What else? Yeah. What else can
Right.
you do?
That was my
Yeah.
choice. Sometimes you're like, oh, you have 2 choices. No, dog. Well, I did. Yeah,
There was
I
only
could lay
one
down. I could lay
choice.
down in the sand and die.
Yeah.
That's not my jam. So
No.
now I started and I ride it back. The second shock happened. My heart was still jacked. So second shock happened while I was parking the ATV in front of the hotel, and that was like that was an explosion in my chest. And if I'm going to try and do this for radio or for the podcast, but it was like I was sitting on an ATV and I was holding onto the handlebars like you would, but my feet like kicked straight back out behind me with my so my body was straight, and then they recoiled back onto the ATV. It
Holy
was like,
crap!
wow! And I don't know if that happened or not, because
It just felt that way.
for a second I was dead, right? And that's what happens. Just,
Oh my
your device
God.
shocks you, and just okay, so I have this bitchin' technology in my chest, man, and I can send a message to my doctor, a full report from my device in my chest to them through my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that.
Cool.
And I'm like, yo, this just happened. Hello, is anybody out there? And so my Dr. Green in La Jolla, would receive this message. Oops, she's in Sweden on holiday. So she gets the message in Sweden and relays it to the person standing in for her in La Jolla. And so then Dr. Patel calls me. I don't answer. And she calls my wife and says, hey, so we got a report that Rob's device went off. Is everything okay?
Mhm.
And she's like, he's in Mexico.
The answer is no. It's not okay. And so, in between when I sent that message and when Dr. Patel called, um, I was shocked 15 times in 8 hours.
Ooh.
Fuck.
Now,
Now, are we? This is approaching some kind of like statistical record, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't even know. I looked it up kind of as a joke once, and there was
Yeah.
no real category.
Now, I have to
Yeah.
ask, at some point, did you, I mean, in part of just sort of getting this settled in your brain about what's happening, what has happened, did you ever get a little bit of a conspiracy theory like thought process, like what the hell, does somebody just not want me here? What's going on? Did that ever like process for
You
you?
know, no. I I I just
Oh, good. Well, glad I planted that in there. Sorry.
no. You
Whoa.
didn't. No, I mean it. Everything has gone through my brain, John. Everything. I mean, that's
Sure,
not the first
sure.
time I've heard that or thought about that. But it's like, wait, does that stick?
Yeah.
No,
No.
that doesn't work.
Good.
That doesn't track. That doesn't make any damn sense. So what I
Good.
know is that human beings have um, periodically an anomaly in the electrical signal from the brain to their heart that causes some people to die,
Mhm.
and the the millions of miracles that happen every day in your body, this ridiculous machine that we just count on to take the trash out, it's
Mhm.
just mind-boggling to me. And so I'm like, no, I don't think there's any there's no conspiracy here. What it really illuminates for me is that I still have value to give to the world and other people.
That is the truth,
That's
man.
that's the deal. And it's like, yo, by the way, fool, you don't know when this is going to be over. So how about making all of those minutes count? Like my time
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
precious. Every day is precious to me. And so the fact that you would spend your precious day with me right now is a very humbling thing. That
Well, we're absolutely grateful to have you with us and having you tell your story. This is, I mean, you I don't know if you've seen the comments in the chat while we're going, but just like people are floored by this.
well,
So,
I really
um,
appreciate that. I get I get some appropriate responses at trade shows and when I speak publicly about. So when I make a statement to say I am a 23 time sudden cardiac arrest survivor, people that know what
yeah,
that means look at me quizzically, like, "Do you know
yeah,
what you're
like
saying?
how?
Really?
Yeah, yeah, did you get that number
Like for
wrong or
reals?
something? They're like, you want to
Oh,
fact
my
check
dad
that?
had a heart attack." No.
That's not exact.
This is
No, that's
different.
a different thing.
And when they say
Yeah,
that, then I know where I'm landing with them too, right? Like what their level of understanding of this cardiac issue is. Um, uh,
sure. So you probably need to back up, be like, back up. Let's do some
yeah,
definitions
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick.
And I'll often ask people like, so what's your level of medical training, just so that I can use the right terminology to get you where,
Yeah,
I don't want to, I'm not trying to condescend, but I'm also trying to make sure that
like
I level this
don't get
out.
too
Yeah,
jargony, or if I can use
yeah.
shorthand, then it'll save us some time.
And
I get
so,
that. I get
All
that.
right, kids, I gotta go to work. I'm sorry.
I know.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay, Gina. Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna do a little bit of extended free skate
Yeah,
here.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
Gina, I didn't realize that. No, it's
Thank you,
okay.
Rob, for
Have a
coming.
good
Oh, Gina,
You
I'm
guys
so,
continue. Go as long as you want. All right,
all
have a good
right.
day.
you're awesome. Bye bye.
See you,
Thank you.
Gina. Yay, Gina Wells, everybody. Gina Wells. Sorry, I thought she had hour and a half. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. But
I thought it. Yeah, sorry.
so after Mexico,
Yes.
and I want to, I've kind of alluded to um, how amazing my wife is a couple of
Hmm.
times, and so this Mexico incident happened on a Friday, Christmas Eve Friday in Mexico. We were
Eesh.
supposed to fly out that
Uh-huh.
day, and so this all happened, and we got into quote an ambulance end quote, and went to quote a hospital end quote. and an hour and a half away. And so all the guy was doing in the back of the ambulance was counting how many times my device shocked me. And I'm like, it says paramedic on your coat, man. Like, where did you get the coat?
Mhm.
I guess. But, um, but so
They just have them at the street
yes,
corners.
seriously. But the amazing part is, so I'm laying there in this hospital and in what they're calling an ICU.
Uh-huh.
And in my book, I say that I feel the heat of the breath of death on my face. Okay.
That just
And I wish
sorry.
I could word it more dramatically. That's closer to how I felt, but I think that's good enough. But
That's fair. That gave me the willies.
good,
So yeah.
good. So my wife is busily working in Mexico, where she doesn't speak Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
and she on Christmas Saturday, okay, Christmas
Mm-hmm.
Saturday in Mexico, she gets into the consulate, updates our immigration paperwork because it's expired now. Secures
Geez.
me a room, a bed in La Jolla, California during a pandemic in ICU, and secures a jet to take me out of Mexico on Sunday morning at 8:00.
That's
Doesn't
incredible.
speak Spanish.
That's so much
And didn't spend
logistics
any
and
money.
doesn't speak the language.
Uh,
What?
I'm like, how in the hell?
How?
the hell? And okay,
That's some magical
I'm
stuff.
resourceful, man. I can get some things done.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at alternative ways to get shit done, to get things done. And my wife,
That's like Hollywood fixer level,
it's
like
Janet Bourne level
holy
stuff, dude. That's what
crap.
that is.
Yeah.
And so she has
Wow.
explained it to me several times. Like, babe, how did you do that? And she'll tell me, and I'm like, I just don't get that. I
Yeah.
told her, I'm like, babe, you'd have been there till Monday. You know, when they wake up and they open up the consulate, that's
Jeez.
when I might have been effective at that point. But that didn't happen. And so I get flown back to, and there's a massive amount of information between when I got there and when I got flown out. And man, it is
Mhm.
bone chilling, the type of extortion that happens in Mexican hospitals. It is
Ugh.
incredible. And anyone that wants that information can buy my book. But no, and I have a working title, but it's not done. I'm hoping for a fall release and get it by having it done this summer. But
Oh, that's good. Hey, real
good.
quick though, if people do want to follow you or learn more about, your story and stuff, is there like a website they can go to or a social media
Yeah,
something? Or
I
how?
have a
I know people are very interested in this
I have a
story,
YouTube
so
channel, and
there
it's
you
just
go.
and you could just look up Rob Hoadley, and you're gonna find like a soccer player or rugby player in the UK first, probably, but then you
Okay.
can find me, and and if anybody wants to email me at robhoadley@live.com, I'm happy to share all my stuff like
There you
that.
go. Perfect.
But and there's and there's some cool stuff I can share. Um, and then so I get back from Mexico, and now I'm in ICU in the US, and it's significantly different, I might add.
Yeah, you think?
Every election cycle there's a big hubbub about healthcare, and our
Mhm.
healthcare, and it's like, man, I am never going to talk bad about US healthcare ever again,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the care and treatment I received at UCSD La Jolla was so over the top awesome that I can't even explain. So anyway, I'm there in ICU for a while, and then they moved me out of ICU, which is super awesome. That's a victory by itself. But I'm there from the 26th of December to the 6th of January, and
Okay.
so that's a decent hospital stay. And
Yeah.
so I have an ablation done on my heart, where they go in and cauterize the area of your
Yeah.
heart where they think the issues are coming from.
Yeah, my mom's had
Yeah,
that done
and a lot of people
a couple times.
do it. Yeah, I've had 2 now. This one, they actually tell me that it was, like 90%, they're 90% confident that it worked, and I'm like, "Whoa, I'll take
That's
90%, man,"
great.
because the last time they did it, I got
Yeah.
no number at all, and this time they actually came out with a
Well, and
number.
it's a great alternative to having some kind of medication to have to take all
Mhm.
the time too, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the side bummer about the hospital stay was my daughter Lauren was drumline captain at the University of Utah marching band, and they had made it to the
Oh.
Rose Bowl, and so she
Oh,
was marching in the Rose Parade,
jeez.
and I'm a lifetime band dad, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man. But then, and the doc was like, yeah, no, check it out, man. You can go. We'll take you off all this monitoring and we'll give you some
Huh?
medication. And you can head on over and then we're going to have to get you back in to do this ablation eventually. So then you'll be at home. You'll have to go off this meds for a few days and then come in and then get the ablation done. And I'm like,
And did you
hell
go?
no, I didn't go.
I don't know if I'd be able
Hell
to
no.
either. I'd be like, "No, we need to get this
It's like I
done."
stepped outside my body and said, okay, wait. Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Your choices are you can stay here in a hospital where you're on
Where they
constant
can keep an eye on you.
telemetry, um, um, um,
Yeah.
under supervision and analysis at all times. And the people that are in this hospital can literally take your heart out of your body, fix it, and put it back in.
Mhm. Right.
Or
Yeah.
you can leave and go to a football game.
I'd venture a guess that Kiddo was understanding of
1000%.
this situation.
Everybody,
Okay,
everybody
good.
was. Everybody was.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because understand, man, because she was in Mexico too, and her boyfriend helped
Mhm.
put me in the ambulance. So,
Wow, holy crap.
and she was 12 when it happened to me in 2011.
Oh, so this has been a
Yeah,
lifetime thing for
yeah.
her too. Oh
So,
my
okay,
god.
yeah, and so yeah, so I stayed and I watched it on TV, right? But I was
Yeah.
happy. I was just fine with that. And it's funny because everybody that went to the game and went to the parade got COVID, and I did not. So
Ah,
yeah, haha, but not. Yeah,
joke's on
right.
them.
Haha. I'm like, I didn't pay for that with the tickets we bought,
Yeah, exactly.
but
It's
and
an extra rider.
yeah. So I got out of the hospital and took the rest of January and February off and tried to get back into work in March of
Mhm, mhm.
22 now, and
Okay,
did my
yep.
best up until about May 31st. I tried to turn it into the wind and get after it and really, but honestly, nothing mattered. Um,
Tell me what do you
I
mean by that?
mean, like
Like, it just wasn't landing
well,
home
because
for
I'm
you,
in
or
sales, and the sales numbers didn't matter. Going to find
Oh,
the meetings didn't
yeah,
matter. The sense
yeah.
of urgency wasn't there, and what was happening was in my chest I have a defibrillator that has an atrial lead and a ventricle lead, and what it does is it
Mhm.
monitors the activity in those chambers of your heart. And the
Right.
atrial lead on the top, the first part of your heartbeat, was picking up the atrial um, information, but then was also picking up a vibration of the ventricle contraction as well. So
It was throwing off the
so my
information.
device thought I was in AFib or was having premature ventricular contraction, and so it was pacing me. So I can feel that at times, and so
Interesting. So the end result was it was harder to just I mean, it was harder to focus, or what do you think the end result of that was?
impossible to focus because every time that
Wow.
happened, I thought I was going to die. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
and I'm
just
not being
awful.
dramatic. I mean, for
No,
real.
I mean, especially because you have that, for lack of a better term, that muscle memory now.
Yeah, because now I'm
Of
waiting
course.
for that shock to happen.
Ooh.
And sometimes I could get out of it in an
Ooh.
hour. Sometimes it was 3 hours. Sometimes it was a day. But it was almost
Yeah.
every day that I felt like I was going to die. And
Oh my
so
god,
I
dude.
said, on June 1st, my doctor, my primary care was like, Rob, you need time, man. And wrote me out of work. So
Yeah.
I took a 6.5 month leave of absence. And October 28th, of this year of this past year, they
Uh-huh.
made an adjustment to my device where the atrial lead now after it picks up the atrial function, it goes to sleep until the ventricle one
Mhm.
gets its information, and then it wakes back up. So it,
And what has the end result of that been for you?
well,
Now that
yeah.
that
So
adjustment's
now
happened?
I don't get that pacing anymore.
Mhm.
So I don't
Good.
feel like I'm about to have another cardiac arrest anymore. So now my
That's a
yeah.
bonus.
So now, but now my hope, my my positive feeling for a future, my ability to make
Yeah.
goals or dreams or plans has all just absolutely skyrocketed, man. And now I can actually
That's so
fully engage in
fantastic.
my life and be happy about things that I'm doing and plans that I can make for Easter or Thanksgiving or family trips or watching.
And all it took was essentially like a firmware
Yeah,
update.
and a ridiculous technology that's in my chest, man. That I am flabbergasted about. I'm like,
Wow.
wow, wow.
That's tremendous. So, speaking of future, you talked about finishing up a book. What else is on the horizon for you now that you have this sort of renewed sense of, for lack of a better expression, joie de
Yeah,
vivre?
right. Exactly.
What is that? What's making itself apparent on the horizon for
Well,
you?
I'm back at work and doing well at work. I really want to try
Cool.
and get back on stage, but for stage acting and plays and stuff like that. But my job traveling doesn't really lend itself to that very well. But what I am
Sure.
doing is some paid public speaking stuff where we talk about survivorship or survival or resilience. So if anybody out there
Well,
needs,
that's probably a nice little chocolate and peanut butter moment for you where you
yeah,
can be on stage
yeah,
and not necessarily performative, but at least, good public
yeah.
speaking and then also be sharing your story. That's
Yeah, but
fantastic.
it is a bit. I mean, there's some theater to it, right? But
Right,
because you
sure.
want to be able to get your message out, and there are different ways to do that depending on the crowd and who they are. And it
Exactly.
could be, and I don't care if it's one person or 1,000 people. That's fine with me. If I can touch one person, that's great. And I, in essence, give everyone the permission to identify as a survivor because everyone has survived
Wow.
something. I read a book, there was one line in it that stuck with me. It said, everybody has their own Vietnam. And,
Yeah.
and take that for what it's worth, but everybody has their thing that they've survived. Shit. If you can, I mean, if darn it, if you can hear my voice, then
Mhm.
you have survived a global pandemic. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Everyone has their trauma and
yeah.
crisis for
And so
sure.
what I'm saying is that if we can go to conferences on any given Wednesday through Friday or whatever, at whatever hotel
Mhm.
conference room and say, you know what, I'm going to elevate and celebrate this group of people and say, wow, you survived this. You're amazing. Way to go. Keep it up. And then next week, go to a different conference and it's a different affliction and you survived it too. Way to go. And elevate and celebrate those
Yeah,
people. How come, John? How come we can't do that every day for
for everybody.
everybody?
Which is beautiful because again, like we had talked about earlier, that positivity is infectious. It gets reflected back in ways that you can't even see or understand, until there's another crisis that comes along, which
Yeah,
is a guarantee.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely, I mean, it's
Yeah.
reciprocal.
So yeah. So
Absolutely.
so the paid speaking stuff, the getting a book out there, trying to do
Yeah.
more podcasty stuff. We're doing a webinar
Nice.
later in the year called Aftershock, and it's me and a group of other survivors that have been shocked by their devices.
Oh, good. It's not just drinking that awful liquor
No,
that's minty and
no, I
cinnamony.
can't drink anymore because of my meds. So
No, it's
it's not
okay.
that.
You're not missing much with
Good
that
to know.
stuff either.
Good to know. Although the
Yeah.
non-alcoholic industry is really blowing up right now.
Hey, I tell you what, we were talking about Fever Tree recently on the
Okay.
show, and it's got all those amazing little like non-alcoholic
Awesome.
flavors, especially that
I
ginger
love
beer.
it.
Oh man. Yeah.
So there's all that, and so I'm moving. And then I do want to point out though that at the end of
Yes.
the year in San Diego, there is going to be a conference called the Cardiac Arrest Survivor Summit, and that's going to be at the Town and
Mm.
Country, and it's in December. You can
Nice.
look it up. It's put on by the Citizen CPR Foundation. And that's again, that's the conference I went to before the Emergency Cardiovascular Care Update, only they've just rebranded it. And I would likely be speaking at that as well. But and this is Heart Month, so I'm really happy to
Mm-hmm.
be on to talk about that and talk about all of this stuff that raises awareness. Sadly, Damar Hamlin had to go through what he went through on the field, but that put 2 million people on notice that they need
It's true.
to get CPR trained. They need to learn
Yeah.
where and how to use and get comfortable with an AED, a defibrillator that's on the wall or in their car or whatever.
Yes.
And
Yeah. If you're at a business, if you're at your work, just take a moment out of your day and just figure out where that AED is, posted up.
yeah,
I think it's great advice.
and know that
Yeah.
if somebody out there is listening and wants to get CPR certified, doesn't know how to do it, doesn't know where to go, wants an AED for their house, for their car, for their business, whatever, and they don't know how to do that or which one to get or why or how, I'm happy to help with all that too. Again, it's Rob Hoadley at live.com. But I'm really
Fantastic.
proud of how far and what I've overcome.
Yeah, man.
Trying to do justice
It's
with
truly
this
incredible.
experience, in just words is really a struggle. And I would like to thank you and your dedicated patrons for, listening to what I have to say and
Of course,
hopefully
man.
taking to heart my, no pun, my call to action to honestly get screened,
Yes.
get CPR trained, get comfortable with an AED. Remember just 3 words: call, push, shock. Right? Call 911.
Yep.
Push hard and fast in the center of the chest, and get the AED and shock them.
Yeah.
You cannot hurt these people. Okay, you cannot, because hurt
Yeah.
means make it worse. And if you can tell me what's worse than being dead, I'll stop saying what I say. But
Well, and before we go into some questions from
right.
the
Yep.
group here, I do want to reinforce that, and something you did say when you were on the show last time is that people are afraid when they do CPR. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to break a rib." You said yourself, "I'll take a broken rib gladly any day over my heart not
Oh
working."
yeah, no.
Don't worry about cracking someone's rib. That's easily repairable.
Look, real
compared
CPR is
to
crunchy, and they don't tell you that in class because
yeah,
it scares people. But
yeah,
I have never had more welcome broken ribs than when I woke up,
exactly.
and I will tell you out loud, I did not think about suing anybody.
Yeah,
And
no kidding, man. I'm alive, dude.
Senate Bill 658, Senate Bill 658, Chapter 264 in California is the Good Samaritan law that says there is no liability for you as a citizen for doing CPR like that.
Exactly.
Okay? No lawyer will
Exactly.
take that case. You're not going to get sued. You're saving somebody's life.
No, you're trying to save someone's
And
life.
P.S. There is no pride in this either. If it's a female and she lets you rip her shirt open to put an AED on it, she needs your help. If somebody lets you push down on their chest like that, they need your help. If they don't stop you,
Yeah.
then you're doing the right thing. Okay. So just do it.
Yeah.
Please
Yep.
act. Don't
Exactly.
wait. Act. So let's open it up.
Right. It's time is of the essence. Yeah, we'll open it up here. We're going to do a little bit of free skate here.
Let's go free skate.
Everybody. Yes, that's right. If you're a Patreon subscriber and you want to drop in here and talk to our buddy Rob, if you've got questions, comments, concerns, whatever you'd like to do, we can certainly field some questions for a little bit here. We've got Jody popping into the chat. While people are filtering in here, if you want to check out our sponsors, seattlegummy.com, use code FINK for checkout for 20% off. We've got finkshow.com for merch, kennedytodd.com. Check out the Fink Show stuff out there. He's also got some very interesting Valentine's Day stuff that you can get there. I was very much impressed by that. Jody, how are you, my friend?
I am blown away. I'm very well. I don't sound well for some reason, but
that's okay.
I'm so happy that I was on time today. I was tuned in for the whole thing, and I'm so affected. I can't even say. It's been an amazing thing to listen to. And Rob, thank you also for your service, in addition to all the other amazing things that you're doing.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure, Jody. Thank you so much for getting up early and listening. You wonder sometimes if what you have to say is something that somebody wants to hear, and I thank you for those kind words. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What are some other
Again,
tips?
just blown away.
Go ahead. Oh, you're blown away. Oh, yes. Rob, what are some other tips that people can do sort of around? I know one of them I can recommend is to keep your heart healthy. It doesn't seem very well, it's a little counterintuitive, but it's also making sure that your oral health
Yeah.
is up to date, because there are specific bacteria that can actually travel down and live in your heart that are related to the plaque in your teeth.
That's absolutely true, and so there are studies that show that like you say, like bacteria in your gums from poor dental hygiene that could possibly be connected to sudden cardiac arrest. Additionally, if you have sleep apnea, or if you snore a lot, or your partner snores a lot, or they stop breathing when they sleep, please get screened for sleep apnea, because sleep apnea is also connected to sudden cardiac arrest because of the pressure and the strain it puts on your heart. And you can go to the American Heart Association, or the American Red Cross websites to look at different ways you can keep your heart healthy and hopefully avoid some of these cardiovascular issues that come up from just our everyday life being cumulatively bad.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I'm just going to very quickly step on my regular soapbox that I step on. Diet, everyone. Diet, hydration. It makes a huge difference in your long-term health. It's a great investment in your health. So make sure you get that dialed in as best you can. Drink some water today.
Yeah.
I know there's people listening out here that miss out on their water intake. Mrs. Vegan Giant. So make sure to drink some water today. It's very important. I think I'm getting in trouble for that one. Whoops.
I just figured out why, but yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's all right. So yes, it's all of those things. It's an investment in your health, and that's not to say that it's not a guarantee of avoiding some sort of disaster. No. Those things just happen even under the best of intentions.
Yeah, and you want to stack the deck in your favor the best you can.
True.
Things are going to happen to folks. We're a machine that over time has a lot of miles on it, and things build up. But I noticed that Jesse in the chat said that AEDs are pretty idiot proof, and that is a very real statement. And
they're designed.
They are, and because one of the things that we saw a gap was that people were scared to use AEDs because they felt like they were complex, and so over time, manufacturers have made them as easy as possible. And please grab it and use it, because it will tell you. The majority of them will just tell you exactly what to do. Some will tell you exactly how to do CPR, and that's what you really want.
So, pop quiz, Jody. Do you know in the place where you work where the AED is?
I've just been informed that we're too small and we don't have one of those because there are so few people there, and maybe they're expensive. I'm not sure. I did research some, but
okay,
I haven't got all the answers I'm seeking.
Well, okay,
Rob can tell me about the cost.
I can.
Sure.
I know what expensive means to me. I don't know what expensive means to
point.
You. And there are no too few people. That's just not. That's not a thing.
True.
If there are two people there, if there's one person there, that's enough for a defibrillator. You have a fire extinguisher every 75 feet, and you haven't had a fire in your building ever. But if you need to replace your fire extinguisher, then your money person just signs a check, and you've never had a building fire. But this happens 1,000 times a day, 370,000 times a year. People die of sudden cardiac arrest in the U.S. It's the number one killer in the workplace. It's the number one killer of student athletes, and there's no question in my mind that every facility should have one or have access to it within 90 seconds. And that's the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, not Rob. So
very true.
So I can help.
We got Steve jumping in
What's
here
up,
too.
Steve?
Steve, how are you, Steve?
I'm good. It's been a fascinating morning. Thank you, Rob, for taking us away from the fart and dick jokes, and we get to learn something today.
You know, we try and
Very
provide you
nice.
some variety every once in a while here. On
I
the
told
Fink
him, I
Show.
said, man, are they going to be all right with this? I mean, this is a little departure from your typical content, man.
It's all right.
I'm oversimplifying
it's been awesome.
You're right.
show, but no, it's been a very,
It's okay. It's
very
fair.
cerebral dick jokes.
Yes,
It's all right.
you've elevated. The
It's a
Fink
head
show
joke.
into,
Hey, oh, sorry. I'll be over here.
No, it's amazing conversation. You're very easy to listen to.
Oh, thanks.
To tell your story. So,
Thank you, Steve.
nice work. Wow,
Awesome.
very impressive. I made me remember that my certification for CPR is way outdated. My old company had us certified at some point, and we had is it IED? Is that the device?
AED.
AED.
No, not an
We've had
IED. That's a different thing. That's an improvised explosive device.
And not an IUD. It's
Oh, an IED. That's right. That is the explosive thing.
that's
Sorry.
a whole different memory that just came up. But
Sorry.
But thank you. It's an automated external defibrillator, AED, and
That's
yes.
and they've come a long way.
I recall the one that we trained on, and this would have been over a decade ago. I believe it audibly spoke to us, like to tell you kind of how to use it. So yeah, when we talk about being idiot proof, I'm sure they've improved since then. It was, but it is intimidating when you're first hearing it,
and I mean,
it did seem like it was pretty easy to use. So
it's a crisis situation if it's being used. So
and
of course there's going to be some
and
stress.
for those,
but
and see, I totally agree with you, man. And some of the best way I have found to get over that is to, I was a safety director, and doing training like this, I would have a department of people like just line up right by the cabinet and say, all right, well, go open the cabinet, and it alarms. There's an alarm. Okay. Cool. You good? Yeah. All right. Now take the AED out. Excellent. Open it up. Now open it up, and it says,
you know what
it's
it
like,
sounds
stay
like.
calm. Make sure 911 is called now. And it's like, all right, so you good? Yeah. Look, nobody's dying right now, but that's what you're going to hear.
Yep.
Cool. All right, cool. Put it away. Okay. Next.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh man, God, Rob, we've already heard this. I know. But the more times you hear it, the less freaky it's going to be when stuff is really going south. And now there's somebody's life really on the line, and you're not impacted by this, like, oh, wow, I've never heard that before.
Right.
So
it's a little bit familiar already.
So it's the exposure to it that I think, and that's just training, right? So all that exposure will lessen that shock. No pun there either. Wow, I got to stop that.
Hey, from fart jokes to heart jokes, Dave says.
I like
well
it.
Done. Hey, where's my rib?
Well, I work in the medical industry, but I work from home. But my office is in Carlsbad, so next time I'm down there, I'm going to look and see where our AID, what is it called?
AED.
Just say
where that's stored. I've never noticed it before.
Yeah, the defib.
Yeah, you can do that too if you want.
We must have one in the office, I would presume. So
yeah, there's a lot of presumption, man,
especially in our field.
I have also some folks that say, "Hey, look, man, we have a fire station right down the street, dog. We're fine." Like, really? Are they home?
Yeah.
Are they there?
You really going to run over there?
They should be. Well, they should be. Okay. That doesn't work.
Yeah, should's not going to save somebody.
So, yeah. No, and that anyway. So, Steve, thanks for that, for adding that, because it's definitely something that I would hope that. I mean, John kind of challenged everybody to go check out where your AED is, and get recertified in CPR. It's not a lot of money, and some people do it for free. And
yep, they do. You can find them.
So
I did it for my my last job.
Yeah, you had to do it then.
sometimes it's all online too. You don't even have to go anywhere.
That's happening a lot, right? Because of the pandemic. There's a company called CBR.
Exactly.
It Works out of Brea, and she's a mother of a son that survived cardiac arrest and started her own training business.
Wow.
There you go.
It Works.
That's great.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, my friends, guess what? I think it's time for us to call it a show.
Show.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Rob, thank you so much for an amazing show today. This was incredible. It was a real treat to have you, and I thank you for joining us.
It's absolutely been my pleasure. And I would like to ask, though, is if I send you some information, can you...
I'll post it.
Post it, and not just to the Patreon now, I mean, but to the commoners as well, because of the importance.
Yes, I will absolutely post those on the Fink Show Facebook page and get those distributed around.
Cool. I'd appreciate that. Thank you to everybody that was listening and that made some comments, and all the hearts really flying across the screen really made my morning. So I appreciate you letting me share, and I look forward to being back on.
Man. Yeah, we'll have a little return visit. I like that. Yes, but thank you everyone for tuning in today. Jody, Steve, thanks for dropping in during the free skate.
Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Y'all have yourselves a super Southern California weekend. We will see you on Monday for some post Super Bowl breakdowns. Oh, Gina Wells, you gonna tell me about some horses? Where's that? Later, Tater. There you go. Thank you. Later, taters.
Fuck you, Fink.
Oh my gosh, Daddy Sploosh.
Daddy.
There, thank you, Jody. Good standing. Well done.